Hi, I'm Rebecca Bennett, and I'm a strategic planner and transformation leader. And I help companies navigate industry disruptions by helping them to, one, understand their new ecosystem, two, find and focus on the top strategic bets that will drive significant and sustainable EBITDA value, and three, implement their new strategies into action and value realization. These are marketplace and industry disruptions that have widespread impacts and thus require companies to invest in transformative change to operate competitively in their new ecosystem. Some of my most notable transformations to date include helping the media landscape shift from traditional broadcast to streaming services, transforming newspapers into profitable online media apps, third, taking companies from not even thinking about environmental impact to compliant sustainability practices, fourth, shifting companies from moderate risk planning and mitigation pre-COVID to a fully mapped out operational resiliency plan post-COVID. Fifth, changing the role of IT from a cost service center to an innovation center and business partner. And lastly, maturing companies from cloud and automation to smart sky and zero-touch computing on the edge while integrating into AI and ML ecosystems. What is a transformation? A transformation is what a company does when they want to go after significant changes across the organization that are critical to its future existence. They are survival plays, enabling them to either keep up or get ahead with changing markets, competitive playing fields, and technology innovations. Transformations often have ambitious targets and long-term goals that require building new capabilities and typically go after 20% plus increase in EBITDA. They also typically entail substantial investment, requiring organizations to fund and resource them differently. This generally means adopting a startup funding model approach, also known as product or capacity funding. CapEx and OpEx budgets must be creatively balanced based on the timing of value delivery. And lastly, organizations will typically need to dedicate full-time resources and oftentimes third-party vendors that aren't currently running the day-to-day operations. Next, how do I facilitate a transformation? A typical transformation journey has 6 steps: scan and plan, build and operationalize, monitor, and innovate. For the scan and plan phases, I utilize a tried and true comprehensive strategy framework and a 360-degree horizon scan approach. It encompasses art of the possible workshops and outside-in assessments that source and analyze the most promising bets. I organize these bets into a roadmap alongside senior leaders, and then leverage my 15 plus years in program management to turn that strategy into action during the build phase. Here I work with program leads, embedding an agile practice and governance framework to incubate, scale, and optimize the new capabilities. This allows working capital to get a quick and accountable return. It also gives new capabilities an iterative structure to get piloted and perfected while minimizing risk and maximizing learning. Once perfected, I follow a tactical handoff plan to embed and operationalize the new capability into the organization. For the monitor and innovate phases, I facilitate executive discussions around OKR dashboards and retrospectives to feed both continuous improvement programs as well as future transformations. What does a good transformation framework look like? When building the blueprint for your transformation, done in the scan and plan phases, I use the following transformation framework. 1, create alignment on value by developing a business-led roadmap. 2, identify delivery capabilities needed through talent, operating model, technology, and data. And 3, plan out a change management strategy to garner adoption and scale. You need to carry your transformation through all 3 steps in order to succeed. Now let's see what that looks like. First, I established the TMO office under the guidance of the CEO. Here, we select the TMO steering leaders and articulate roles. Then, I guide the TMO on articulating an aspirational yet quantifiable goal that is tied to the business strategy. Next, I help the CEO lead the business leaders to reimagine the business through go-and-see visits to other innovative and leading companies, executive trainings, and Art of the Possible workshops. The key is to get leaders out of the comfort of their own company in order to see the future and their role in it. Once leaders see what is possible and have the right training and same language to communicate, only then can they embark on refining the aspirational goal and defining a transformational roadmap organized around 10 to 15 well-defined domains. As we build a shared vision together, competitive repositioning, bets, and roles will become more clear and commitment will rise. I then help the leadership team prioritize bets based on high-level value and feasibility. Value can be determined through outside analysis and benchmarks. Important criteria to consider here is customer experience and satisfaction, financial benefits, speed to value, and synergies. Companies also need to have a well-defined and unified risk threshold to weigh that value against. When assessing feasibility, leaders should consider the strength of leadership commitment, 2, data and technology readiness, 3, ease of adoption, and 4, ease of scaling. Once the 2 to 5 bets have been agreed upon, I then help the business leaders to do a deep dive to formulate business cases on how those bets will transform their domains and what investment is needed to achieve them. Here, I help them 1, articulate the business problem to be solved. Tools such as zero-based journey design and end-to-end process mapping can be effective here. 2, I help them to identify solutions and use cases. 3, we benchmark and assess their operating model, talent bench, data landscape, tech stack, and change management capabilities to identify gaps and thus scope to build their transformation capabilities. 4th, we rein in their estimates on value and feasibility and how they will impact OKRs. And 5, we enact an implementation and change plan with quarterly realization milestones. For these top bets, I work with senior finance leaders to design a funding model that works for their books. Being an entrepreneur, I'm familiar with how startup funding works. And in fact, this model of funding has proven more effective than traditional project funding models. Once the bets have been placed and the roadmap solidified, I leverage the governance model of the TMO to bring the roadmap to life for the build phase. Because we are creating new capabilities, I tell my program leads to treat initiatives like their own startups, where we incubate, scale, and then optimize before operationalizing. I set up steercos to act as a board for each initiative in which each program lead provides updates and receives guidance from key influential stakeholders. The first goal is to get to MVP from the prototype. Using this approach allows organizations to deliver value sooner and is best supported by agile development. Once built, I design a pilot to test the capability with select stakeholders from the organization in order to obtain baseline metrics and feedback so we can perfect and reduce risk before fully integrating into the organization. Once we hit the operationalized stage, just as I might develop a go-to-market plan for my own startup, I provide a tactical handoff plan to embed the new capability into the organization. Because I include business leaders early on the capability building process, expectations on resources and funding needed to support the operation is no surprise, and therefore they are able to fully be prepared for the launch. In addition to training and a formal handoff, it is critical for the TMO to continue to monitor and support the new capability to ensure that it continues to operate and deliver as expected. If you would like to see a use case, you can learn more about the transformation journeys I led by viewing my video stories under these companies on my profile.